330 World Trade Centers in 120 countries. And I represent the World Trade Centers in India. Currently, there are 4 which are operational in India, 26 which are underway, which are at different stages of development. And what does World Trade Center do? We grow trade. We only help in growing trade. Trade between India and the rest of the world. So I'm a global organization and I'm the daughter of the soil. I have the privilege of being a Kashmiri. I have, like Suhail pointed out, that I've graduated from Kashmir, and you would not believe I've graduated from Navakadal College. So I'm honored to be a Kashmiri and honored to be on a global platform and honored to be on today's platform and see how I can contribute and help my people of Jammu and Kashmir in whatever capacity I can. I'm very open and available to each one of you for any help, any support, any advice, any consulting that is required. For my people of Kashmir, I'm always available. But not only for Kashmir, but India, actually. I have a privilege of being joined by luminaries of the industry, and the theme of the session is skill development, the opportunities and challenges that are faced in this segment in India. So please may I invite Mr. Varkey Joseph from Raymonds. Do we have Mr. Varkey Joseph here? Hello, sir. Mr. Ajay Kumar Jindal from the National Skill Development Corporation. Professor Ravi, Prakash-Dean, Faculty of Management Business Studies. Professor Nisar, Economist. I have met Mr. Nisar a couple of times in Delhi and had a privilege to actually tap into his ideas for skill development in India. I personally believe that he's a great mentor to have because for World Trade Center, he also gave us a lot of advices for our centers of excellence that we have been thinking of actually collaborating with. I now invite each panelist to introduce themselves and then before I actually start with the session.
Hi, my name is Varkey Joseph. I head Center of Excellence for Raymond Limited. Most of you might be knowing about this organization. We specialize in textiles and I'm based out of Thane. Pleasure to be here. It's a lovely place. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ajay from National Skill Development Corporation. I head Center Accreditation and Affiliation. It means anybody who wants to do or get involved into training under National Skill Qualification Framework Network, they have to get accreditation and affiliation with NSDC. So I do that good work of getting some of them into and bad work of not allowing some of them into. And I also had a project for Ministry of Home Affairs, which is specially for the state of Jammu and Kashmir, the project Udan. Much talked about project in the state. But as a head, I can proudly say this is one skill program being run by any government, state or center, which has given the maximum employment in spite of its all shortcomings, which people say it has. Thank you.
Good evening to all of you. I am Professor Ravi Prakash, Professor and Dean Faculty of Management and Business Studies, Dr. K. Modi University. This university is set up by the Modi Group of Industries, which got the legacy of the 75 years of running the different institutions. Thank you very much.
Very good evening to all of you. I am Professor Nisar. I spent my remaining 38 years in the University of Kashmir as a head and dean and director acting vice chancellor, and thereafter member of the Finance Commission of JK State and advisor higher education and director board of directors of JK Bank. So I have seen the institute, bureaucracy and academics and corporate sector. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Today's topic of skill development in India, opportunities and challenges. The entire purpose of this session is actually to showcase to you the challenges and the opportunities that skill development in mainstream India has, and then try to link it with the challenges and the opportunities that we can actually create in the state. So definitely the skill development initiative is worthy of applause, but it is stricken with a lot of challenges. And I believe, personally I believe, that it is not the policy. We have the best of the policies which are being written, the best in the world, not only in the country, the best in the world that we have as far as the policies are concerned. But it is only in the implementation of these policies and these initiatives that we falter. So sir, starting with Mr. Joseph, what do you think is the, what are your current views on the development of the National Skill Development Policy and the implementation? What are your views on that?
Okay, so one thing I think we must compliment ourselves is the very proactive nature of our government in taking up skill development in our country. Because as our skill mission director had mentioned, we have so much of youth in our country, but if you were to look at them, not many of them are skilled, not many of them are employable, and that leads to a problem where we are not able to reach out to them and they do not get sufficient job employments. Having said that, while the policies are in place, while the interest is in place, when the rubber hits the road is where we face difficulties in terms of implementation. If you were to look at the skill program, we need students to be mobilized. It starts from there. That's where we face a lot of difficulties. Say the formal education sector is pretty well established, and there are centers available in our major towns. But it is the youth who are located in the hinterlands that it's difficult for them to reach and for them to get these avenues. So the mobilization of these students is one major issue that we have faced. The second issue that we face is for those students who undertake these skill programs is the placement of these students, which is where the industry has to step in and industry has to help. So these are the two major challenges that I would say exist. The programs are good, the schemes are good, but it should not only be initiatives that are being launched, but it should have right from the start till the end. The entire program has to be supported and built up from ground zero.
Mr. Joseph, you come from Raymonds, a corporate, and which is a huge organization which actually has more than 10,000 workers or more, probably, if I have my numbers right. Tell me how many of, because you do placement from the universities, so how many of since the National Skill Development Policy has been initiated since 2015, how many of these placements have you done for the corporate from the LSDM as compared to the placements from the universities and the schools?
I would say close to 95% have been from the universities and probably less than 5% have been from the skill-based. So I say, for example, I have training centers myself, Raymond tailoring centers, but the students who come out of there are not students who can be employed in the corporate. They are employed at the workshops which are managed by our franchisees. A few of our students go to the garment factories which are there, but if you were to ask me, to be honest, it's over 95% of students from the formal sector who get employed as Raymond.
So there definitely is a gap, considering that you're running your own center of excellence, and you're only less than 5% is what is employed within Raymonds, which has a capacity to employ, be a great employer, is doing limited. So there is definitely a gap.
So I wouldn't say there is a gap. If you were to look at the job role per se, so we are not doing our skill program through the Center of Excellence for the job roles which are in the corporate. We are doing the skill programs for those job roles which are to be done, say, at the shop floor, or it is done at the workshop. So those are the job roles that we have identified. Because what happens is that it is only those job roles where the students who come from, say, underprivileged backgrounds will be able to quickly acquire skill and be able to perform.
So it's a part of the CSR initiative of Raymonds?
A part of it is CSR, yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Ajay Kumar, considering that you are from the NSDEC itself, could you tell us what are the challenges that you have actually faced? And what are the opportunities and some few success stories that you could probably tell us about?
Before I answer to your query, let me pitch a years period of any society or any country. And it lasts for about 40 to 50 years. China is going through the last 10 years. Korea already finished with it. Japan already finished with it. And they had enjoyed the dividends of this positively channelizing this youth energy. And we have already done with 10 years, and we have another 40 years. So this was where this skill program, skill initiative by Government of India came into this. And because we have been seeing in our education system that there was a lot of gap, what was being taught in universities or schools and what was required in the corporate sector. So I saw this very closely when after leaving army, I worked for Toyota Industries for 4 years, and I was heading the south for their sales and service, etc. So whenever we used to approach market for even the shop floor, there was no ready manpower available, and we had to spend quite energy and finances on training them. So this is where the Skill India concept came into being. Yes, he was right that 95% of the intake in Raymond sector or in the corporate sector, big industry houses, is from the still from the universities. But there 95% maybe amounts for about 10% of the total jobs in the job market. 85% of the job markets are in MSME sector, where for whose manpower we are targeting at NSDC. We are at NSDC giving training under Pradhan Mantri Vikas Yojana to up to level 4 job roles. Basically, a step above the entry level maybe. So to that extent, I think we are quite successful. And there are many success stories, not only in PNKY under Project Udan, which I had. We have quite a few Kashmiri students who under Project Udan, let me tell you, Project Udan, the starting salary is only 15,000 rupees, we say. But after 1 year, 1.5 years, there are, I will say, quite a few number of students who are earning more than 1 lakh per month. So, and this success of any government project, it depends on many factors. Government is only one player. Then the major players are training partners, training centers who have to do the selection of jobs. At NSDC, we are not enforcing the job levels selection with our training partners. We are leaving a lot to the market forces, and there have been trends where we have seen, now we are working on it to clear that up, where the training partners have at times selected low-hanging fruits like sewing machine operator, data entry operator, agarbatti maker. So, and that at times didn't really turn into the jobs. But now we are doing a lot of things where we are taking off those job roles from the laundry list, and we are going towards more specific job roles, and we are also improving on, like we are connecting more job roles into single job role. Like if one has to be a air condition mechanic, he should also know how to repair a fridge, because basic principle almost remains the same. So now agarbatti maker and agarbatti packer, we are combining it, and we are doing away with that job role because there are no more handmade agarbatti being made. And under this program, we have also given about 25% of the targets to the state government also, where the state government can go for the state-specific target. Like J&K has certain job roles which are not available anywhere else, and at national level, it will be very difficult for us to create curriculum, etc., or infrastructure for those job roles. So we are doing, and we are inviting, like now more and more powers are being given to the state skill missions from NSS.
So if I have to ask you 3 major challenges that NSDC has faced in India.
One is big challenge. Like I had center accreditation and affiliation. We do center accreditation and affiliation based on certain guidelines, but the guidelines which are applicable in J&K are not applicable in Rajasthan or Punjab. So we have to keep on working on updating those guidelines on state-specific or region-specific. That was one of the, standardization was one major challenge. Another challenge I already touched upon, the selection of the job roles by training partners, lower hanging, which we are trying to control quite a bit. And then, like in any other free scheme which is run by the government, I have seen many places, माँ कहती है तू घर में कुछ काम नहीं कर रहा, प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना चल रहा है, वहाँ पे जाके बैठा टाइम वाला पास हो जाएगा तो 500 रुपया मिलेगा. So many of the times the students are not interested in it because they don't have any commitment. They haven't.
So that means it's time for us to raise our bars and benchmarks for the entry levels in such programs.
Yes. We are working on that.
And so what are the 3 opportunities that you would highlight that NSDC has which we can learn from and implement in our state?
Opportunities we have.
Just 3. I mean, considering that India is a vast country, I'm just asking 3 opportunities.
Opportunities are like we have a ready job market where which is ready to take trained manpower. So Jammu Kashmir State youth have a very high IQ level. I keep on talking to people, and the state, if the selection of the job roles and the selection of the training partners is good, then they can really change the scenario in the state.
So are you empaneling these training partners?
No, the state is empaneling this.
The state is empaneling. There's a criteria for empaneling these
Yes,
partners by the state.
the state. We have given that part to each of the states commissions to have their own.
So, but are there any at the centralized state level, national level?
See, we have basically what they do is they send us the list of the selected training partners. Then we have guidelines through which we give them accreditation and affiliation. They have to follow those guidelines. Only then, so the guidelines is the benchmarking of the infrastructure.
So, but how are you linking it with mainstream? Like, because even the training education centers would require mentoring, or would want to learn from other states. How are the centers then connected with other centers?
We at NSDC, we are calling frequent meeting of where we invite the training partners and training centers for meeting each other and talking to each other. And at state level, we are connecting big conclaves. Recently, we had a conclave in Odisha, Karnataka, etc., where the other state TPTCs are also invited because you see that TP is a universal concept. TP who is running a center in Jammu and Kashmir, he can run center in Kerala also. He can run center in Maharashtra also. So he is not limited to a region or a state. So it's only the TP who runs a training center. So that way there is a lot of intermixing and learning from each other.
I see only if ambitious TPs are there, only they would try to actually create those linkages themselves rather than your organization actually helping in creating those connections and collaborations.
No, we are helping them through organizing conclaves, etc.
What is the frequency of those conclaves, sir?
We are having the annual conclave in New Delhi, and at state levels, we are at all the states level, we are having at least once a year.
So the opportunities are huge.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. I know I asked you a lot of questions, which I am very, very keen to. I'm sure everybody is more keener to take it from the man himself.
Thank you.
Get the answers from the man himself. So, Professor Ravi Prakash, I'll actually ask you the same question which I asked Mr. Joseph, that your view on the current
in ITI, he is unable to teach him properly. And my question is that this is a skill mission is only confined to produce plumber, and there is a mission of producing of a higher stage also, higher skilled people. So we have a parameter fixed, a skilled for whom, at what level a skilled must be incorporated. Because there are a number of projects are coming in our country. Like for instance, bullet train is coming. We need a high skilled people. There is an automobile industry, there is a pharma industry, there is a textile industry. In every industry, we need 2-3 layers of skilled people. We need at the lower level who can work at the workshop level. Then we need a skilled people who can work in the R&D. Why not we are talking about the research and development skilled people? Who will produce? Are we not doing something wrong with the skill? Because when we talk about, Sir has rightly pointed out, yesterday I was looking one paper in the Rising Kashmir. There was an ad for a teacher. You can walk in and the teacher salary was 15,000 rupees in a Delhi public school in Kashmir. Do you think that same ad will be applicable in the NCR in Delhi? It means we have set a tone, and that tone must be set with a national policy. What should be the parameters for the different skills in the industry or in academics? And academics must be linked with the industry. Whereas, because in India, the problem is with the recruitment process. If a person who is coming from academics cannot be accepted into industry, the industry people cannot be accepted into academics. So there is a huge gap. This kind of debate must give a conclusive remarks that academics and industry must work hand in hand so that the skill enhancement at the both the level is required, and that is how we can produce a skilled talent in our country, those who can be directly employable by the industry, and he can really make available, like putting together the two different skills, like a air conditioner mechanics must do something different skill like home appliances, so that if he has visited, I have personally experienced in Delhi, my house, when the air conditioner repairing came, my wife asked, do you know washing machine? And he said, yes, I know. And I was more than happy, because multitasking is required everywhere. So we need how to synchronize. If we are producing some kind of a technical aspects, so that is being required, because in industry, whether it's a university like in JNU or in IIT or Jammu or any other university, the industry incubation centers are not working in reality, and that's the major problem. Professors are unaware what is actually going in the market, and the industry people are unaware that what is going into academics. So this relationship between the academics and industry must be put in such a scenario where the syllabi must be inculcated that it serves the needs of the society, so that at the larger stakeholder, which is the student, we have the dividend, but how we are going to encash those dividends, otherwise it will become a liability to the nation. Thank you.
You touched upon
I'd just like to add what he has said. He has stressed upon higher level at higher level integration between skills and education, and he wants government to do that things. But I think we as a society should also come out of that framework that government has to do everything. There are very successful models, like this is running a model with dual integration of skilling and this classroom teaching. And he is also in discussion with NSDC, his university is in discussion with NSDC, where for Jammu and at state level, Jammu and Kashmir is going to be, I hope so, because we are working on it, the first state where under scheme Udan we are looking for integrating the skills with the classroom education for the students after +2.
so the e-learning we're talking about, right?
No, I'm not talking about e-learning. I am talking about dual degree like we have in Germany, etc., where we will have 40% of classroom training, 60% of that workshop training or with the corporate houses. And his university is one of the partners with whom we are talking. It is still on a very initial stage, but I just wanted to tell the August House that government is working in that direction. It is not that government is not aware of this issue. We are working on this direction, but the things do take some time before they materialize, so you have to give us that time.
So, but like Professor raised a very pertinent point here that Kashmir has a problem where, especially in Kashmir, you took an example of Kashmir, where the government and the industry need to work hand in hand and they're not working, to which one of our audience actually said, no, that is not the case. Which I would myself also point out is, in Kashmir, rather than J&K, we do not have a private sector as advanced as what we have in the rest of the country. We do have a major gap and a vacuum as far as the private sector is concerned. And I'm sure that many of you would agree with it. So how do we actually, and when we're talking about and looking at the government, because that is the highest employer in Kashmir or an employment generator in Kashmir, that actually takes the focus from the government to entrepreneurship. But before we actually take on that discussion, because that's something which I would be asking you, I would actually like the viewpoint of Professor Nisar, because he knows Kashmir very well. He's from Kashmir and he has been working in this segment and he can throw light on the current development in the state and the challenges and the opportunities that we have in perspective to the skill development.
Thank you very much. I would put here my experience of 1972 to present. You know, what we call skill development today, J&K government implemented it, formulated and implemented. I was part of it in 1972, June and July, as a part of the 5th five-year plan, self-empowerment program, self-empowerment projects. It was in the beginning of 70s success stories, particularly in livestock, farm sector, some small-scale sectors. In the late 70s, it did work well. But see, we have to look at J&K from a different perspective. I will touch upon a couple of things here. One is our education system. Our education system right now, you know, we are heading almost 12,000 graduates, postgraduates every year to the stock of unemployment market. Our universities and colleges, they are in today's parlance just manufacturing graduates, postgraduates. We just enter into the unemployment market, because their degree of serviceability is literally zero. They don't have that kind of education which is required by modern industries, not necessarily in J&K, we won't have industries as you rightly put it, but certainly in Indian market or elsewhere. So therefore, the first challenge that we have to reformulate. I did this exercise while I was advisor in the Head-Affiliation. We wanted to introduce 53 courses we designed which were purely skilled, from medical technology down the line, agriculture, etc. But unfortunately, you know, we are still in the feudal system as far as governance is concerned. My dealing with the officers and bureaucracy, they hardly executed anyone. That was the major reason I left without resignation. So therefore, we have to have a change in the mindset of the governance, that is one. And number two, change in the education policy and the system. The second thing is most important. I happened to be with the World Bank recently. They were involved in job creation in Kashmir. They had Andhra also with them, but I don't know how why they skipped that. But in Kashmir, the report, when the final report came, I was earlier also involved. But when final report came, myself and Sierra Raju were involved confidentially in that. I tell you, the reason that we have to look at, that they have categorically mentioned that the average mindset of educated youth in Kashmir is they want, let me put it as, superior service. Yes. In other words, white collar jobs. So there is a social taboo attached with a private job, a corporate job. Suppose any corporate giving to a Kashmiri fellow, boy or a girl, 30,000 rupees a month as a salary. And the fellow prefers to have 5,000 rupees a month in the government sector and forgoes that 30,000 rupee job. There is a social taboo attached to it. So the major challenge that I have, because I work with you, the major challenge that we face right now is that how to change the mindset of the people. There are some historical reasons and there's a legacy of the past. You know, I don't go into those details why this is. But I think it will take a lot of time to change the mindset, and we have to work very hard for this. The other thing that I want to say is, you know, our job creation was much more in farm sector. Agriculture, its life, and so on. It was contributing as much as किसी ज़माने में 68% to our state income, and today it is just given to the state income. Hardly 30% is its share. It has shrunk. The maximum jobs are being given in the services sector, where the development administration take off. Is the share is 14% and 14% the professional services. That is 28% jobs are being provided by professional service, maybe the medical and engineering and advocates and so on, chartered accounts, plus the government administration. So this is a dismal story, dismal picture of the state's economy. So our governments, because I have seen all along more than 4 decades, several governments, they permit a number of jobs to be created in the state sector. But when they end up after 5 years or 6 years, it's a total failure because they are hardly able to create jobs. So the basic reason is that state sector has almost reached its sector.
So can I ask you and interrupt you here?
Just a minute. Now why this has happened? Because right from the late 40s or 50s, whatever the reason I don't know, unfortunately we have not been able to create a corporate sector, company culture here in J&K State, so that you had an industry, if not a very large scale, but at least medium scale industry here, where you could link up education with the industry.
So this was exactly my question to you.
UTC is a mandate. We do see it at UTC level, that whether we as we score institutions accordingly in the NAC assessment. But unfortunately, we don't have industries here. So we have wholly or solely dependent on the agriculture, which is a losing enterprise.
So taking an example.
Put a data here, because it's related to education. Just 1 minute data. There is a major problem in Kashmir is a dropout in education. The 32.3% of dropout and discontinuation of education in rural Jammu and Kashmir for males is due to financial constraint, and 31.5% is due to engagement in economic activities, while 35.7% of dropout and discontinuation of education in rural Jammu and Kashmir for females is due to engagement in domestic activities. The 24.9% of dropout and discontinuation of education in urban Jammu and Kashmir for males is same due to financial constraint, and 31.1% is due to engagement in economic activities, while 20% of dropout and discontinuation of education in urban Jammu and Kashmir for females is due to engagement in domestic activities. So this is a very, very important data, and how the education system of J&K government is going to work upon that.
Which was the third largest mobile company in India and the world right now. They are employing almost 20,000 workers, 25,000 people are working right now in Vivo, and they have created the entire 150 acres of the region where World Trade Center is into a mobile cluster. And we've had a policy which makes the international investment very attractive for these corporates to set up their businesses in Noida. And an entire value chain is being created for the mobile cluster, which we are calling MOX. But then you have to understand that the policies were changed. The IT policy was changed for the mobile industry. The electronic policy was changed. The R&D centers, which India actually lacks. You talked about R&D center. In India, if you look at R&D, we do not have a budget allocated for R&D. Leave aside private organizations putting a budget in the R&D. But we have kept special incentives and special schemes in the policy, in both the IT and the electronic policy, for this MOX cluster, this mobile cluster to come out. And because of those policy changes, 25,000 are being employed right now. And it is anticipated that by 2020, they are going to be employing almost 1 million people in the mobile industry. But when we were talking about the mobile industry setting up, and in Vivo, getting those 25,000 advanced skilled techno graduates was difficult. And this is a state, we're talking about Noida, where we have 500 educational institutions. I have the biggest university, that is the Gautam Buddha University, right across me. I have University, I have MIT University, I have Gangoja University, all of those 7 universities present in the vicinity. And plus 500 other educational institutions there. Yet, finding manpower for this industry was difficult. And we are talking about, so skill development, there's a huge potential for skill development. But when we are talking about J&K, the lack of private sector and the dependence on the government is a huge task for that private sector to get developed. It cannot develop. It's an ecosystem which needs to get developed. We might talk about skill development. We might talk about, getting the training centers and stuff. Unless and until the value chain and an ecosystem is not created, the challenges and the challenges will remain. The opportunities will create. Some we will miss, and largely we will miss.
Let me continue.
Now this is something. No, this is something which I actually would want a corporate. We have a corporate which is actually into it to ask, how would you help?
No, excuse me. Just 1 minute. We invited, Sheikh Saab invited big giants of India, Indian corporate. They came here, stayed.
So Umar also did, Mehbooba also did
3
the same
times
thing.
I received Narayan Modi. When they go back to Delhi, they forget Kashmir. So unless you have a
So it's not about forgetting. It's not about forgetting. It's about policies.
Can we just please? I mean, we
So
are
they interactive section slightly.
Excuse me. We are listening. We appreciate all the discussion on the dais, but probably ladies and gentlemen, and the honorable guests on the dais, I am Hakeem Khalid. I have spent almost 25 years of my life in North America and Middle East. I was a consultant for skill development and career counseling. I was a consultant for a university.
The jobs to the Udan candidates, she promises 60. Not even a single industry partner came from Jammu under Udan. That's a reality, let's face it. It's very easy to criticize. It's a step which the government is taking towards the...
Ashraf sir, we can take it offline. I have panelists who actually need to be answering certain questions. I do understand that you have a lot of questions, but please, sir, I have Mr. Joseph, whom I would actually like to talk about entrepreneurship in skill development.
So
let's learn from others rather than talking about our problems. Let's learn.
Ma'am, just for some time. Excuse me. Yeah. I'm Sahil Alagmand, representing
Mr. Alagmand, I can hear you later. We can hear you later. Let Mr. Joseph speak. We can have you offline. Please. I really want this panel to actually, from which you would learn. Please start learning. Please.
Yes, thank you. So
I will allow you.
I'll give you a case study as to how we have developed entrepreneurship. What happens is, most of you know about Raymond. If you buy fabric, you've got to get it tailored. And now, if we studied that lots of customers are actually falling off, they are not coming back to tailoring. So when we went back and asked them questions, they said that the quality of tailoring is poor, the time taken is very high. We went deeper and we came to know that the tailor master is actually having karigars leaving him and going for other jobs. That's when we decided that we will come out with a very specific course on tailoring for people who are completely unaware of tailoring. We developed this. And after we developed this, and my case in point is our center in Lucknow, where we found that there were a lot of girl students who had come and joined us. And they joined the shirt making, the curriculum. And when we asked them, why do you want to, learn shirt making? They said, there are lots and lots of schools in our villages where we come from, where the children require uniforms to be stitched. So what we did is we trained them. We put 2 or 3 of them together. So there was one girl child who had learned how to stitch trousers, another girl child who had learned how to stitch the shirt. We put them together. We encouraged them by tying up with a bank close by, providing loans, saying that these are students certified by Raymond. We set up a place for them within their own locality in the village. We put up a facade for them saying that these are Raymond certified entrepreneurs and they are doing a flourishing business. Now these are people who had nothing, they didn't know tailoring, but we got them over, we taught them tailoring and now they are entrepreneurs.
Mr. Joseph, I must tell you, the first fundamental of an entrepreneur is access to money, access to mentoring, which you did with the training school, and access to the market. They already have an access to the market. I don't know if you're aware, in Kashmir, just the province of Kashmir, tailoring is a 400 crore business with the uniforms, school uniforms, and the police uniforms. It's a 400 crore business industry which has been untapped. So I would request you to actually start looking at something, because the government would definitely look into creating a tailoring hub. And we've had some small institutions which have been training, especially girls. But this is an industry of 400 crores, and this business is actually going out of Kashmir because the uniforms are stitched outside of Kashmir and they're brought into Kashmir. Why can't we look at this in Kashmir? 400 crore industry, koi choti industry nahi hai. And this needs to be tapped. I would want Raymond to actually come and provide this training. You already have a model which is existing in Lucknow. We can replicate that model and we can all benefit. I mean, this is a superb example of something like this when we know this industry is so large here.
So there is another successful model like this, which is being run in Chhattisgarh. What government has done, all the ladies who get trained under Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, after that they have made self-help groups. And amongst 4 females, they have given 1 Juki machine, that industrial sewing machine, all this, the ready-made shirts, etc., they are still on that. So, and those ladies, they can come on their own time and stitch the uniform or the shirts, etc. And they are paid on per shirt or per garment basis. So, initial investment has been done by the government, and over the period, as in a self-help group, they have to contribute 10 rupees per month or 30 rupees per month. That's not a big amount. So, over the period, they return the money also, and they are entrepreneurs in themselves. And this model is being successfully run in Chhattisgarh. Market, there are like, government has to be one of the buyers, police uniforms, school uniforms.
This is a 400 crore industry which we found out last year. The World Trade Center did this survey in Kashmir that which are the businesses that can actually require that we found out.
And there have been models where they have linked the handicraft with e-commerce. E-commerce industry. In various states, governments, they have connected them. And a lot of work in this has been done by Amazon, etc. They have various state governments have connected, where the local handicraft, they are those who manufacture it, they put it on the sites and they do the e-commerce. I believe there is an e-commerce big player in the state of J&K also.
We have a Kashmir box, which is Kashmir box, and Panun, and we also have Panun Kashmir. These are the 2 e-commerce sites that we have, which are representing Kashmir handicrafts.
So I was highlighting these business models are there. थोड़ा सा एक दूसरे स्टेज में जाके देखना पड़ेगा, आंसर हमें खुद ही मिल जाएगा. Look, situation is not so bad.
I really appreciate the interactive session that we had. I would want Zulfikar actually, who wanted to actually speak, and I did not allow him to speak. Can somebody pass on the mic to him? Or he already has it. Please.
Sahil
Alakhan, sorry.
Assistant Director from Ministry MSME Government of India. I have been working in the MSME Srinagar and Jammu from the last 10.5 years, having some experience in industrial sector, worked with Jindal Steel Limited for almost 3 years. Now, we need to deconstruct things, to be very honest, in order to get, because it's skill, entrepreneurship, for me it's 2 different things altogether. Because what we basically generally know entrepreneurship is, and what we have learned entrepreneurship about, when we have studied entrepreneurship, I don't think that sort of entrepreneurship in most of the cases exists here, to be very honest. Yeah, there are few entrepreneurs in Kashmir. We salute them because they have breached this conflict. From 1990 to 2050 to 18, they are living in conflict and they are still running your business. They cannot withstand for 1 day. Even a manufacturing unit cannot sustain 1 day loss. But now, let's take it one by one. Let's come down to academies. As Mr. Ashraf rightly pointed out, we have ITX. I was in Singapore last year, 2016. There was a principal of some school, and he has a leading school in Singapore, in Asia. Then he was told, when you were appointed as a principal, what the thing you did was, I just thought, what is the most important thing I should do? I thought infrastructure, no. I thought students, no. And then I chose the best possible faculty all over the world to teach the students. Now let us talk about these ITIs over here. Have they visited industries? Mr. Ashraf rightly said no. क्या आइडिया कि किसी टीचर ने इंडस्ट्री यहाँ के इंडस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक चीज को जाना है कि नहीं? No, I have Mr. Representative of Jammu. They came down to my office. I called. I was planning to have a meeting with superintendent ITX. Let us make a tailor-made training for this. Let us talk about Udan is giving this training. We need basic training because we have this sort of factories available. देखिए हम यहाँ पे इतना पैसा बहाते हैं. मैंने सिंगापुर में भी कहा बैंक वाले से DBS बैंक.
Alapam, come to the point. What are you trying to stress?
Just few seconds. I will just come to it. बस मैंने उनसे कहा कि आप फंड करते हैं जैसे लोग because they do it themselves. पर यहाँ पे हम बहुत पैसा लगाते हैं. देखिए मैम, we give 10 lakh rupees to 100 entrepreneurs. वो क्या है अपना छोटा मोटा बिजनेस चलाते हैं, but they don't have high level technology. We don't approve 2 crore, 3 crore rupees finance, so that they will have a private sector. And then the need of the technical manpower will come into play. That is not it. ये एक बहुत बड़ा लूपहोल है. हम पैसा सबको छोटी-छोटी फैक्ट्रीज खोलने के लिए दे देते हैं.
So we need to fill up those gaps, right?
I think you have pointed out in a very academic questions what the entrepreneur means.
Yeah.
Not starting the business is entrepreneurship. Growing a business is known as a entrepreneurship. Like innovation is an important ingredient of entrepreneurship. What the innovation means? Change or renew the system, which we are not doing it. The another thing, there is an applied creativity model which the entrepreneurs does work. The one is the discovery. What the discovery stands for? New ideas, knowledge, concepts. Then there is an invention. In this, inventions, technologies and business models. And third is innovation, under which commodities, goods, services and experiences, if it put together, then that's the purpose of entrepreneurship is being solved. We think that the starting of a business is merely an entrepreneurship. If you are setting up a business and it remains the same, that's starting a shop, or that's not entrepreneurship. If you are making one day, like Dhirubhai Ambani, he started a shop, he started a small business, but now it is a big conglomerate. So that kind of concept is known as entrepreneurship. We have to work upon that, and for that, if any schemes come from, I think we all are agreed upon this. There is a need of a relationship between the society, industry and the academia. They work together hand in hand, and they actually point out that what the society needs, what the industry needs, and there is a vacuum between that. The gaps must be bridged, and I hope so. The current mission of the NSDC, or the skill mission, is working towards that. Like I pointed out intentionally, that there is a skill enhancement scheme must be introduced, and the Udan is the new Udan scheme, not the earlier Udan scheme, is basically working for, they will become a graduate, like BSc in retail management, BSc in tourism and hospitality. So they will get the graduate degree, they can go for a master's degree, they can do a PhD. I hope so the day will come, then there will be PhD in plumbing, PhD in AC mechanics, and there will be department of AC in the MTech and other programs, such as like earlier we had never given a thought when the PhD program was launched in Germany first time in the world. So I hope so the day will come, then we will have the academics will serve the purpose of the industry. There is a huge anger in academics industry that we as an academics are not providing the actual skilled people to industry, those who can serve from the very first day, and that is why I initiated the debate. The kind of a medical education which the medical universities are providing, such models must be adopted from the Prof level. We have not introduced the Prof system, which is only one in the medical education. If we are going for such kind of courses in the different level, definitely will serve your need and will feel one day happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. I don't know if you're aware that Boeing actually, it's a very simple R&D center they have in Gujarat, in the Ahmedabad University. What they have done is, for their Boeing seats, you know, the fabric, the innovation in the fabric has been done in the R&D center of Ahmedabad. That is one example where I can actually say that the academics, the R&D and the corporate work, and globally Boeing actually changed the entire fabric of their Boeing seats, you know, made them inflammable so that, you know, which actually is not a fire hazard, and it was developed in the University of Ahmedabad, and IIM Ahmedabad. And that's where the R&D comes in. But India does not have a culture of R&D as much as we would like. A small country like Taiwan, if you look at, it is leading, it is contributing 97% of the electronic software manufacturing design is done by Taiwan. They're leading in ESDM, and that is only primarily because they're actually investing. Both the private players as well as the government is investing in R&D. In India, we are slowly coming to R&D. We're trying to change that. We realize, especially in artificial intelligence, which is the new foray, which we see is the future. E-commerce. अगर आप China का e-commerce देखोगे, the platform of e-commerce in China, and that you see the e-commerce platform in India, we're far, far behind. It is so, अभी आप Paytm में देखते हो bank-to-bank transfer. This is all a copy of what we have done in China. The e-commerce in China is far advanced than what we see in India, and we have an IT, we have the IT giants in India. Yet, when it comes to innovation, largely because of the R&D, we are far behind. And that is where the government, the central government is actually under the Digital India and various other initiatives are coming up. I thank you all, the panelists, and I thank you all for being patient and actually being vocal about you're very enthusiastic, huh? And for being very interactive. There were various issues that we actually touched upon. There's a huge challenge, there are many opportunities, there are huge gaps, but wherever there are gaps, there are challenges. I always believe there are opportunities, and these opportunities can be created. One great opportunity that we have is we've got Raymond Center of Excellence head here, and who can help us in tapping the 400 crore industry, which is immediate, which is not difficult, which can really, really help in creating employment, in creating entrepreneurs even in Kashmir. And we should take advantage of such forums wherein these connections are made. We can take the help of, we can take the influence of Professor Ravi in the collaboration of academics and the private sector or the government sector. We can really take his inputs from those. Obviously, Mr. Jindal has been the focal point of all the criticisms and the opportunities and the challenges. But I believe, sir, that you should all take these discussions as in a good spirit, from the perspective that we are people who are very, very open and who definitely are looking for constructive things to happen. There's a huge gap and a need, and which we can, and they're looking for you to fill that need. Mr. Nisar, Professor Nisar, I really thank you. Though I did not allow you to speak much, but nonetheless, you worked on a lot of policies in the past, which some of them have been implemented, some of them can be implemented, and you are progressively looking at bringing and benchmarking them. There's a lot which can be, the industry can benefit from, and Kashmir per se can benefit from. You are also mentoring one of the Center of Excellence, I believe, with Intikam, right? Yeah, you're doing that, which I believe could help bridge the gap which the industry has. One major fact from this forum I realize is that there's a value chain and there's an ecosystem which is required, and that is which the Center of Excellence can only do some aspects of it, which is training, but the collaborations which are required, the gaps which are required to be filled, is something that the Centers of Excellence should actually work on. You are otherwise just a training center. You can only become a Center of Excellence if you help create those value chains. And that value chain is identifying the industries which are here, like floriculture, food and agriculture. We take examples like UP. Or let's go back to Gujarat. I really love that state. I really think that state is my karma state. I spend a lot of time in Gujarat, largely because it's a very proactive state. The only successful cooperative, if we have seen in India, is Amul, and that comes from Gujarat. The other good cooperative that we've seen, which UP unfortunately is notorious, but jiske baare mein zyada kuch bolte nahi hai, but the sugar industry, this is the sugar cooperative of UP. we in Kashmir require these cooperatives. Build these small cooperatives in Kashmir. Give back to the community. I have tried working in Kashmir. I have found working in Kashmir very difficult. Ashraf Saab knows that how many times I have come. And isi bahane mein hamesha apne, I'm not as a World Trade Center, I can't work in a conflict city in Kashmir. But yet I've always taken my personal interest to come to Kashmir and see what I can do. Many forums I have sat with Ashraf Saab and seeing that kya kar sakti hu, kaise kar sakti hu, Kashmiriyon ko kaise access de sakti hu. You would not believe we've created homemade in India stores for retailers of Kashmir. I mean, there's a Kashmir pavilion which we have kept. Nobody has taken advantage of that. You talk about access to market, you have a Kashmiri there on a global platform. If you're not taking advantage of that, then aap kya kar rahe ho? I mean, we created a homemade in India store ki jo small skilled लोग हैं उनको entrepreneur बनाना, उनको SIDBI से finance, J&K से finance, cooperative bank से finance, ग्रामीण बैंक से finance उनको दिला के आप display करो. हमारे पास हमारे retail stores में World Trade Center में infrastructure दिया. If you people are not going to take advantages, we can only bring opportunities to you. We can teach you. We cannot give you a fish. We have to teach you to do fishing so that you become sustainable. I mean, I have come to Kashmir probably 200 times or more, and each time my family has taken a back seat here, and I've always come work with me to meet people, meet startups, meet young entrepreneurs, open doors for them. But these doors have not been taken. Trust me, I have a World Trade Center membership which is very expensive, which is for 1.5 lakhs rupees per annum. For Kashmir, I made it only 50,000. मैंने waive off कर दिया और वो भी 3 years के लिए कर दिया. Can you imagine such benefits as a Kashmiri that I am making and trying to give you access to money, market and mentors, and you people are not availing it? We can do as much as we can, and I'm sure that these panelists can only do as much as they can. But you have to do it.
Doors that never open.
I have opened. I can speak for myself. I've opened many doors.
I told when I started. Last when we met was when I met Prime Minister of India. I said, after the flood.
Sir, आप उस level पे मत जाइए. मैं उधर नहीं जा सकती. जो मैं कर सकती हूँ, मैं वो कर सकती हूँ.
Doors were not open. Doors were not open. Money is not considered. But positive handholding is important.
Also explain us how many people he has provided jobs for the years, and then we might have to also answer the question that he is not able to get skilled labor. But I can assure you, next year you have to provide 100 people jobs. Because I'm going to give you 100 skilled people that I can at least have.
I hope this will give us 100
for tomorrow. This is all. So let's see how many jobs tomorrow.
Let this conclude with a resolution.
Yeah. So let's meet tomorrow again. God bless you all, and God bless all of the people who are joining this session. And thank you very much, Khair, for carrying this. Thank you.